Well, hello, my fellow brothers and sisters. Yes, I do have the flag on, believe it or not. And I don't care because I'm so excited of what's has currently happened. Yesterday, I was recuperating because obviously Tuesday I barely slept, as many of you know, as probably many Americans who are very happy with the outcome right now. First of all, congratulations to all my fellow Americans, the world, our galactic family, our friends, in the spiritual realm. I mean, this has been monumental victory for us. And I felt it in my gut. I think a couple of the last video I spoke about it briefly and how I was feeling. And I'm so glad that my heart, my gut, my instincts pretty much felt how this was going to proceed during the election. It was very, first of all, I'm going to make some note. I made some notes because obviously there's a lot that I don't want to forget. And many of you on the video had noticed that I put a picture of General Flynn, and this I think happened in 2021. And I was in Venice, Florida. He was doing one of his events there, and I was mystically invited by my cousin, whose husband plays in a band that was playing for him that day. And we were there, obviously, listening to him and other speakers. He always, through his campaign, I guess, through his support of America, he always encouraged us to take local action. So when I took this photo, I was so close to the stage, and then he came out, and I was like hesitant because obviously, you're here in front of this legend, and I guess he saw me, he saw my hesitation, and he actually told me to come to move forward and take the picture. And obviously, I gave him my many thanks and for everything he's done. And here we are. It's been an amazing journey for a lot of us. It's not only this lifetime. We have been waiting many lifetimes for this moment to happen, and that became more clear as this day was coming. And during that night, it was intense. I was excited, but at the same time, I was a little bit nerve-wracking, like many of us, because obviously we had the 2020, which came, it's like post-traumatic stress that came as a trigger, and it was unbelievable how the the course of it, how it just went through, how the whole procedure of the election, it was just kind of, believe it or not, it was very clear. It was very structured. It seems like they covered purposely every area that was flawed during 2020. And obviously there is still areas that are going to be questioned because the numbers, even though it was a red C, the numbers still don't, a lot of us are questioning, there should have been probably more numbers, but of course that's something that we will look eventually, hopefully, into, and as well as 2020, we have to make that right. Um, and I'm hoping that with time, we will be able to put clarity on that, especially for those who are still, which wow, there's still people with the numbers that we got. It's less than half, obviously, that were supposedly for Harris. It's just still a large number, and it makes you wonder, and makes me think of why we had to probably wait 4 years in order to capture more people and awaken more people in order to get to this pivotal point. Um, so that obviously we're going to put it on the side for now. but I wanted to definitely talk about um, well, the reason why I started to talk on my videos, and I needed to make it more solidified and clear because I'm not, just here to just blabber stuff, which we have, unfortunately, many videos of that on YouTube. And there's many other people who are doing excellent work and to put the truth and their experiences and humble guidance. But I want to stand today to acknowledge the people that are not here with us anymore. And that is what I feel in my heart that I want to, that if I'm here still ticking and breathing, that I will utilize the breath that I have every day, the life that I have within me to do this for those who are not here with us, like my father, the veterans. He was a veteran. For those who fought because they really believed in that they were fighting for freedoms. And we know that there was more to it, unfortunately, but they gave their life to give us a platform to express ourselves. And everybody deserves the space to do so. And that's why we needed to win. We needed to continue this journey so those that are not here with us, we can voice out, you know. Sorry, this is a little deep, but it's important. It's important for me to acknowledge friends that I don't have anymore that unfortunately left too early. And there were reasons for health, which I'm a very big advocate for that. And I will be talking more about that more now that I feel that we will have a better platform to not have to be censored. Although there's many people doing it right now, and I can commend them for expressing the misunderstandings about how our body works and how health is, and all this Western medicine. There's good in it, and don't get me wrong, especially emergency, but to know that many people have lost their lives because of disinformation, of not really understanding how the workings of your body, your mind, and spirit, how powerful they are. So, again, the reason for me doing this is for those who are not here anymore. And I have many people, and I bet you have as well, people that are no longer next to you that have a voice, but you have one right now. And I will continue more than ever after this amazing event to voice out for those who are not here and for our pets, for our animals, for our environment, for the pains, for the suffering, for those who didn't have a place um, or people to support them. And again, it's important for us to listen and to be able to allow, regardless of their background, regardless about their ideology or perception, it's important for us to go deeper and understand where they're coming from. I know that we can get triggered, and I've gotten triggered by attitudes and behaviors, but there's so much to it. And it's important that now that we are in this junction, that we bring along those in understanding, because I believe that this was when we're still in it. I mean, this has been a war of information, of good and not good information. And they've used our emotions, and that's what I feel and believe, is that they use the vulnerability of people that have been going through traumas, and they were brilliantly using our emotions to basically cater to their plan, you know, and I always call these people bullies because that's what they are. And they trained us and society to become little bullies, you know, and to put you down, to put your morale, to mistreat you, to call you names because obviously you're not in tuned or you're not saying what quote unquote everybody else is doing or saying. So they brilliantly use the fear of bullying of people, children, and I was a victim of that. And many of you have been there. Unfortunately, it started with adults, and then when I went to school, we had children that saw and experienced that and had traumas, and that was one way of it's very complex, but I think you can understand where I'm coming from. And finally, I feel the sense of peace when this happened, this election. The next day, obviously, I was still uh, needing some sleep, and I had to go to work. But I just came out of my house and I just felt this sense of relief of this weight off of me. And I think, like I said, many of you as well sense this like new day, new beginning, new sunrise. And we've been waiting for this for so long. So I am very happy and you know, we are still in it, but this junction is just the point of no return. This is it. This is where we start to really do the homework. And I just feel that it's just gonna, like I said in the other video, it's just gonna be amazing. So before I continue, and I wanted to share with you a dream that I had, and that happened in September 5th this year. The night before that night, actually the dream happened on the 6th because that night on the 5th, I put an intention that I wish to, and that's usually how I get some memories and insights. I put an intention out that I wanted to know if any of you have seen videos in the past of Abigail, Richard, or Melanie, Mylène. I think I mentioned it there. I had an experience when I was a child where certain beings, I was like 7, 8 or so, that came to our bedroom, and I say our bedroom because my sisters were there, and they witnessed. I was asleep. They witnessed light beings. One of them said they were like human beings, and the other one said they had wings. You call them angels, and at the headrests, one of them said it was for the Virgin Mary, but the case being that after remembering that experience and those beings, as they mentioned, they were in our bedroom, and they were practically surrounding my bed. So since then, I've been trying to understand who they are, and obviously they are benevolent, and I wanted to get more information, and I've been slowly trying to inquire and to go into inner meditation and to get insights. But in this case, that night, I asked to get guidance. And I dreamt, and I am still trying to decipher it, but I dreamt, and it was very briefly the memories that I got as soon as I woke up. It was very bold and, and very straightforward. The year that came into in the memory was 1776, and it was like kept like flashing 1776. And what I remember seeing, it seems like it was that very important pivotal time of the signing of the Declaration of Independence. And there was a bit of a commotion. I can see beings, people kind of like shuffling around in the room, but I was in observance of what was going on. So again, it wasn't super clear, but it was very clear though that the year was 1776. And I leave it as that. I'm still looking into it. I think, if I'm not mistaken, and many of you from the galactic groups that we're in can maybe guide me. I think Alex Collier mentioned that there were certain intervention beings that were there present during the signing. I think I heard, if I'm not mistaken. So I tried to go in and Google and research, but I didn't see anything. But if anybody has any insights on that, that would be great if I can get your feedback. But with that said, that was something that really caught my attention. Again, I will, continue my journey, inner journey, and as well as the recognizing who we have been in the past, so it can give us, um, I guess, some powers, some strength, some encouragement to understand a little bit more our journey and our mission. But in the meantime, we still have to, continue working on who we are here on Earth at this time. So there's many other little notes that I have here, because obviously, like I said at the beginning, as soon as this event happened, there was this information overload that came up to me that I felt it was good for me to speak about, especially from my background and my experience personally. And the thing that I a little saddened about is that, unfortunately, now that I go back to work, I can see I still have, obviously, I do have clients that are not happy with the outcome. And I have to always, of course, refrain, because at work we can't talk about these things, and I will be definitely fired. But there are some clients that are, the same page, and sometimes I will talk to them. But I guess I want to point out that it doesn't matter your background, education, where you come from, um, your skin color, like I said, your knowledge, it doesn't matter. If everybody that I've spoken to comes from every aspect of our lives, and as well as on the other side. But I guess what I wanted to point out is that, as I mentioned earlier, this is something that they captured us, not only intellectually, because there's no common sense in that, but emotionally, they did capture a lot of us. And I was there at one point, and that's what I tried to acknowledge and point out to many, that at the beginning, when 2020 came, actually it was 2016, I wasn't totally on board with Mr. T. I was busy, like many of us, working and paying our bills and going through other life situations. But that pivotal moment, even though obviously a lot of us at 9/11 was one major awakening moment for us. But, fast forward, 2020 was the punch, I would say, that got me and many of us to really stop and think, because we had to literally stop working for, I think in Florida it was like 3 months. And at that moment, it gave a lot of us some room to breathe and to really say, okay, what's really going on? And at that point, I personally decided to really sit down and do some homework. And I may be jumping around, but how it happened with me when I made that turn to really say, you know what, Mr. T, Donald Trump is actually for us. It was when he was giving these White House briefings, and obviously he was tweeting as well. So that was a smart move, because he really wanted to capture what he was saying and not get mis you know edited and twisted as they were doing, and that's where I started to see, oh my gosh, I was seeing the White House briefings, and then I would, curiously enough, I would go into the news, even though I obviously didn't uh you know was too hung up on this mainstream media at that time. But I would just do a little comparison. I was like, let me see what they're saying. And then when I noticed, it was just so blatantly how they were taking um, his information, what he put in at the White House briefings during COVID, which is basically how he was able to communicate to the public directly live. And then to see what the media was doing was absolutely astonishing. I was like, holy crap, this is real. This is they're really doing this. And that's when I started to really listen carefully and do more research and say no. And that's basically where my pivotal point was, and then, to be frictioning, and then it was, the point of shifting, and then um going in that direction and noticing that there were still people going in the other direction. And you can start to see and draw the line of who we are, where we are, where I want to be, what outcomes do I want? So in order for me to see the outcome of something different and beautiful and freeing, I had to be in that state. And that's the way things work. So even though it was scary at first, the only way I can do something, in my little place, in my little world, which, when you think about it, it's really not little. But that's another topic. But every person and every individual, your actions, regardless of how big or small they are, they're very important, because we shift collectively as a network. We start to connect, and then we start shifting the outcome. So regardless of how we think we do, um, how much we do, it's extremely important. And it's important for us to hold the line. Sorry, I had to pause for a little bit. Had my mom come in. But I want to leave it as I guess, with my speaking from my heart. Yeah, I'm not doing this, and my actions are not just for myself. My actions, my words, my thoughts, my everything that I try to do in my life is not only for my benefit, it's for the benefit of everyone around me in the world. So if we can do that every day, and I'm not saying I'm perfect, but I've come a long way, and I continue to be open to change and to learning and to be humbled as well to new information and to change views as well. There has to be some certain flexibility in order for us to grow. So, with that said, I'm excited. I can't wait for our this future that starts every day in this present moment. Um, I can't wait for a full disclosure, because that's going to change everything. I mean, that as soon as that opens, it's just like the gates, the floodgates will open, and then there's nothing else for them. What can you say? I mean, this is the one of the main reasons we're doing this, for our children and for full disclosure. So I will continue as much as I can. And I think with this, like I said, this event, this has given me so much more optimism, courage, and more power within me to feel confident to do what we all have to do here on Earth, no matter how small or big. But Thank you, America. Thank you for the world. And this is brilliant, brilliant future. Love you all. Bye.